This conference will now be recorded.
Hi there, everyone, and welcome to Series 10. Can't believe it, of Behind the Mask, where I am joined with Mark Robson, Chairman of the BII and Managing Director from the amazing pub group Red Mist Leisure. Mark, how are we doing?
Morning. Yeah, I'm very well, thank you. All things considered in these very peculiar times, but yeah, we're holding up okay. Thanks very much.
Indeed, indeed, indeed. So I suppose where do we start, Mark? The industry as a whole, or being a business leader? Let's go with business leader. So you're founder and owner of some of the amazing Red Mist pubs. Tell me about how the hell you've kept it together on a people and commercial front, and what's been going on to drive the future of your pubs.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's been a difficult year, hasn't it? It's been a difficult year for anybody in the sector. I think whether you're a leader, an owner, a member of staff, a share, whatever your stakeholder involvement is in the hospitality industry this year, everybody's been affected, and it's been a pretty tough time. There's no doubt about it. It's certainly the most challenging period of my working life.
Mm.
And I think there's been different stages throughout the last year, hasn't there? Because it's been a roller coaster. We had the initial lockdown, and I think most people, it came as such a shock, and we were all very scared and frightened that there was a real survival instinct that kicked in, and we jumped straight onto takeaways and groceries because we just knew we needed to bring some cash in. And then we had the reopening in the summer, and I think most people, certainly in and around suburban locations like ours, we traded really, really well. And
Yeah.
then further restrictions, and then obviously the November lockdown, and then back for a pretty subdued Christmas, and then lockdown again. So it's been a very changeable time. And I think there's kind of, from my perspective, there's sort of two elements to that. The first bit is is protecting the business and make sure the business is okay, and that we've got we're talking to our banks and our landlords, and doing the things that we need to do to make sure we can pay our bills, and make sure our creditors are happy, etc., and that's been unbelievably difficult and challenging, and remains that way. And the second side is the human side. You can't. Everybody's been affected by what's happened over the last year, but we've got kind of 220 staff, something like that, and you have a responsibility to protect those employees and look after them, and we know that working for us is providing food on the table and paying mortgages and rents and that sort of stuff. So it's been making sure that we are responsible and kind and caring, and that we look out for people. And a lot of that's about communication, actually, just making sure that we're open and honest with people, and that we communicate regularly, and we let them know where we're at and how things are going, and offer help and support, physically, emotionally, financially, in any way that we can, really. Yeah, I think if I look back at the last 12 months, I'm pretty proud of what we've done. I think we've done okay. We've kept our head down a lot, but we've got on with things, and I think we've coaxed a lot of our people through what's been a really difficult time. We've been very fortunate. We've managed to stay pretty COVID clear in Red Mist. I'm actually not aware of any cases of COVID within staff. We've had one or two customers. So we've stayed pretty clear of it, but still, I know people's families have been affected, etc., etc. So yeah, it's kind of those two strands, really. And I think the position we're in now, which is a very uncertain and slightly anxious one. We're all just hoping that whenever we do get the nod to reopen, that is that's the final time that we'll be in this position, and hopefully the vaccine will do what everybody thinks and hopes it will do.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. No, I can't wait for the pubs to open. I'll be straight down the castle and the stag. Don't you worry about that. Yeah, I'll probably be dragged down there, actually, with Gradana, as you know. Okay, Mark, let's shift to the industry as a whole. Where does the BII see the pub sector being in 2 years' time? And a couple of things. How frustrating has it been campaigning for the sake of our pubs? And will pubs boom?
Oh, there's a lot to take on there.
Yes.
God, 2 years, looking 2 years ahead at the moment, I think is impossible, Nick. I just,
Mhm.
this has been devastating for the sector. As we know that a lot of people are going to fail on the back of this, very, very sadly. And I think the emotional and the mental sort of turmoil that the last 12 months has put onto people, has made it very, very challenging for people that have a pub in our sector, or more than one pub. And I think there's people out there that, certainly that I know, that have probably questioned whether they actually want to be in the industry anymore. So I think it's very hard to see where we'll be in 2 years. I think the one thing we know about pubs is that they are, and hospitality, as a wider sector, is that we're a very resilient bunch. The three trade bodies, the BII, UKH, and BBPA, I think have done an amazing job talking to government and communicating with their members, and securing support for people in our sector. And I think particularly in the early days, we had some real successes. It's been a little bit more challenging of late. And I think, I really genuinely think it's too hard to predict what's around the corner. Obviously, we're all waiting to see what Rishi unveils in his budget on March the 5th, and we hope that he continues, that he listens to what the industry is saying, and continues to offer some long-term support, especially around VAT and business rates, because hospitality can be part of the solution rather than just a big part of the problem, as it has been at the moment. So looking ahead 2 years, pretty challenging, but I'm pretty sure whatever happens, that the pub sector will bounce back. It might take some time, it might be a bit fragmented and a bit damaged, but I'm pretty sure it'll remain robust. The one thing you have to remember when you look at the industry as a whole is that pubs have such an intimate place in people's hearts in the UK. It's different to other elements of hospitality, but we're very, very lucky. Pubs are, they are part of our social fabric, they're part of our culture, and it's not just about a pint or a bite to eat. They're places where people go for a bit of solace and a bit of company, and they go to unwind and socialize and see friends, and that won't change, I don't believe. And actually, I think more than ever, people are crying out for that. So I think that will remain, and I really hope the sector does boom. I think the most challenging part of it will be high streets and city centres. I think because retail has suffered, as we know. Well, certainly, physical retail has suffered, and I think those that are sitting on a high street will probably, in terms of a pub or hospitality venue, will probably have a pretty torrid time, because footfalls were declining before COVID, and that's probably gonna continue and even accelerate further. But yeah, I mean, in terms of the BII, I'm very proud of what the organisation has done throughout the last year. To be honest, Nick, my role as chairman really is to support and guide and make sure strategically we're doing the right things. But we have a phenomenal team. Steve, who's been in place for 18 months or so now, has a really good, strong leadership team. Natalie, Molly, Hannah, Sheila, who's just joined us on the finance side. Those guys are absolutely putting the BII, firmly back on the map and taking it forward. Our membership's really growing, and I think the support they've offered to members through the last 12 months has been astronomical. And people know now that when something changes or government policy is revised or something new comes out, none of us get it on day one. We're not quite sure what it means for us, our pubs, our people, etc., what money we're entitled to, how we apply for things, and within 24 hours, the BII they've unpicked that for you. They've put it on a poster. They put it over social media and given you all the links you need, and just deciphered that information. And I think there's the last year or so has proven why people should be members of trade bodies in our sector. And if you have a pub at the moment for what is a very, very reasonable price. I think 150 odd quid, 160 quid. You know, the support you get is just phenomenal. So very proud of the BII and what they've done over the last year. But certainly none of that credit sits with me. It really sits with Steve and his team. They've done a great job.
Yeah, I think BI is coming to its own. I like your humility, Mark. Always have done. But yeah, no, I was. I think yeah, incredible team. I was stepped in for Dawn actually for one of the NETA judges, and yeah, she's awesome. And Steve, making those noises and clubbing together with the BBPA and the UKH for the one voice is no, hats off. And I think that support to like-minded operators is absolutely invaluable. Mark, feel free not to answer this, but your biggest personal challenge as chairman of the BII, MD of Red Mist, and dedicated family man. What's that been? What's been the biggest personal challenge?
I think it's just getting through. I think it's, you know, like all of us, it's just juggling, you know, your home life, and you know, I've got three kids under 8, and the pressures that my wife's been under. Our youngest is 18, 19 months old, or 20 months old, whatever, and you know, that's not easy when you've got them all at home, and you know, we've all found this homeschooling stuff, you know, pretty challenging. And to be fair, my focus has been on you know, on the business and keeping the company going, and probably less so on my family. So yeah, I'm very grateful to my wife. Very lucky. I've got a superb wife. She's a real superstar, and yeah, just trying to do my bit when I can. Which is silly things like making sure she has a line at the weekends, or you know, cooking dinner occasionally, and that sort of stuff. In terms of the business and the BII, look, I mean, I absolutely love the involvement I have with the BII. I'm so proud to be associated with it, and I'm so proud of where it's going at the moment, and what we're doing, as I've already mentioned. So I don't see that really as a challenging role. I just see it as one that excites me and I enjoy. And you know, you know, when I look back at the couple of years that I've been there now, as chairman, or you know, chairman elect for a while, probably the biggest hurdle actually was Mike, you know, retiring. Mike Cliss, you know, we knew he was going to step down all the time, and appointing Steve as his replacement. But that was, we were very lucky that Steve was interested, and that's been a great transition, and actually that's worked out well on all sides. So yeah, it's been flying high ever since. Not that it wasn't before. I think that's probably it, Nick. I mean, I've talked about the challenges of Red Mist already. I think it's just combining those different things, and you know, but they're also the things that get us out of bed in the morning, aren't they? You know, our kids, our work, our industry, our passion. They're the things we all love. I mean, they're tough at times. They've been tough in the last year, but they're also the things we love and we enjoy. And you know, that's what's great about our sector, is that most people in it have a real passion for it. And you know, I'm no different. And you know, I love it. I love it with you know, with all my heart, and really sort of eat, drink, and sleep it. And you know, just can't wait to get back to normal, like most people in the sector.
Great balance. So life is all about that balance and being passionate, Mark. I completely get that. I'm going to ask one more question though.
Sure.
So what advice would you give to operators of all levels and champions of head offices to see through this elongated final part of the dare I say ordeal, and the ability to come out strong on the other side? What advice?
Well, I think it's probably taught all of us a lesson. Certainly, I mean, look, you know, my business has got 10 pubs, and you know, we've never had much cash in the bank. We've always tried to put, you know, cash forward to grow and, you know, reinvest and that sort of stuff. And it's probably taught us a big lesson about cash management and making sure that we've got enough cash aside for a rainy day. No one predicted that this scenario was going to happen. It hasn't happened really in 100 years, and you know, but there's a lesson in there. And I think the one thing you do when you're a leader and an entrepreneur is you learn from mistakes, and you learn lessons as you go along the way. And if you don't, you're a bit naive. So there'll be a definite lesson on that. I think the other thing, Nick, is just, you know, look, use the time we've got now. We know we've got another couple of months now ahead of us, and you know, I've been on a call before talking to you this morning about, you know, systems and processes, and can we change 1-2 bits and pieces, and you know, improve the way we do things. And you know, for me, we got to make sure that our pubs, our business, our people are in the best possible shape when we're allowed to reopen, because we've got to trade hard, you know, over the next year or two to recover from this awful situation, and to try and fill some of the losses that we've all encountered. And you know, the last thing we want whenever we do get the nod is not being fully prepared. And you know, so I think from our point of view, it's just being as smart as we can with our time now, and just you know, really working hard to make sure that when we get the green light to reopen, that we're in the best possible shape.
Yeah, good advice. And actually, to be self-indulgent for a second, I think I've just come out of the thought process of the indefinite timeline with what can I do? What can I do within my business? What can we do to keep those levels of improvement to sort of come out of the blocks? But I suppose that's what you can do, and then maintain that healthy family work-life balance as well, and all of the rest of it. So right, Mark, can't wait for pubs to open. Can't wait to see you for a pint at the castle, and we will do that. I know Jordana would love to see you as well. So listen, thank you so much for taking part in this.
Pleasure. Thanks for having me. It's nice to talk to you, nice to catch up, and yeah, I look forward to having a beer at some point in due course. Fantastic. Shame we can't enjoy it whilst we're watching the Six Nations, Nick, because I know we both like a bit of rugby.
No, but we will enjoy the Six Nations, just not quite in the same way. But 2022, here we go. Good stuff.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, thanks again, Mark, and catch up soon.
Pleasure. Cheers, Nick. Thanks.
Cheers, bye.